Welcome. This is the STARS Part 2 Life Cycles Test Review. Here we go. Alright, all stars are going to be born in a very large cloud I'm trying to represent here. And this might be happening several times. I'm showing one here, but there could be dozens in here. And perhaps thousands. Depends on how big the cloud is. Stars are born, this is number one, stars are born within large clouds known as nebula. Make sure it's recording. Good. These large clouds are made primarily of the elements hydrogen and some helium, perhaps. Mostly hydrogen. The size of the nebula can be several hundred light years. These things are enormous across. A supernova can lead to the creation of stars. So if there's an explosion of a star, ironically, it can actually lead to the birth of stars nearby. Within a nebula, some areas will contain more material than others. These denser areas will naturally have more gravity. Number 5. Because of this, more material will be pulled in. As more and more layers are pulled into the denser areas, the middle section of the dense areas naturally become higher in temperature and pressure as it's crushed. Eventually, enough material is gathered so that for the first time the hydrogen in the center starts to fuse. That's the fusion. To be specific, the element hydrogen is fused to the element helium, and a massive amount of energy are given off during this process. This means that a star is born. Or a star has been born. Right, types of nebula. So these giant clouds in space, they might look small in space, but they are enormous, light years across. We have 3 different ways of describing them. And here we go. The type that blocks light so it can be seen, that's a dark nebula. The classic example, if you want to look it up on your phone, I had it in the notes, is the Horsehead Nebula. You see the silhouette of what looks like to be a knight from a chess set in front of a cloud, and that would be a dark nebula. It's blocking the light behind it. Number 11 is lit up by a star nearby. That's going to be the Reflection Nebula. Very much like our sky is blue. Remember, the sky is not really blue. It's borrowing the light of our sun that's getting filtered out. That's exactly what happened. It borrows the light of a nearby star and it lights up the cloud that's nearby. Number 12 is heated up so much by an internal star that it emits light. That's the glowing emission. Remember, emission means giving off, emits light. It's so hot that it actually makes the cloud start to give off its own light. So then it says 13, a planetary nebula is an example. So our sun is going to be one of these one day, and that white dwarf in the middle is so hot, remember it's in the middle, that it actually heats up the gases around it and it gives off its own light. So that would be an example of a glowing emission nebula. All right, that's part 1.